I'm Carrie Roberts, making the news at this time. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Khadija Amin, has announced that more than 1,000 buckets of relief supplies have been sorted by regional corporations throughout Trinidad and Tobago in support of communities affected by the recent earthquake in Venezuela. Regional corporations have coordinated efforts to collect, sort and package the donated items, which will be transported to the Plipdeco warehouse before being shipped to Venezuela as part of the humanitarian relief initiative.
Label these items in English and Spanish. They have also packed buckets with items in them: dry foods, canned foods, powdered milk and so on. And this is easy for us to give to an individual. It's easy to ship, and we are doing this in collaboration with Sewatiti. So we have over 1,000 buckets that are packaged, so it will be easy for distribution on the field given the situation with the earthquake. And all of these items will be transported to the Plipdeco warehouse, where they will be packaged on pallets to be shipped on Friday.
Minister Amin says the response to the national donation drive has been overwhelmingly positive, with businesses, community organizations and residents rallying to support the humanitarian effort.
And I think that level of enthusiasm is positive. You also have a lot of groups who do social work with Venezuelan citizens who are in Trinidad, and many of them have also reached out with concern because they have relatives there in Venezuela that they want to get items to. So, so far the response have been very, very positive, and even our disaster management units have been very busy in terms of receiving and packaging items.
The collection drive was based on a list of urgently needed supplies provided through the Venezuelan ambassador. In other news, business leaders, law enforcement officials and key stakeholders came together for the Cunupia Business Chamber's Regional Security Stakeholder Meeting and Forum, fostering dialogue and collaboration on strategies to strengthen security, address emerging challenges, and enhance public safety within the business community and surrounding areas. Deputy Commissioner of Police Suzette Martin said building trust between communities and the police remains one of the most effective tools in fighting crime.
I firmly believe that effective policing begins with trust. When communities trust their police, people share information. Problems are solved more quickly, and criminals find it much harder to operate.
She encouraged business owners to strengthen their own security measures, noting that crime prevention begins with shared responsibility and proactive planning.
Security is most effective when it is shared. Good lighting, CCTV system, employee awareness, and timely reporting all contributes to preventing crime before it happens.
DCP Martin stressed that public support continues to play a critical role in successful policing. In sport now, the West Indies finished day 3 of the second test versus Sri Lanka on 318 for 4, trailing by 231 runs at stumps at North Sound in Antigua. Back from injury, Shea Hope played a veteran knock of 86 not out in a 174-run partnership with Justin Greaves, which saw the West Indies take their score from 58 for 1 to 318 for 4 on the day at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Greaves is unbeaten on 85. Earlier, John Campbell contributed 72 to the cause. So the West Indies will resume action on day 4 at the North Sound ground on 318 for 4, with Hope and Greaves at the wicket in their 80s. And that's what's making the news this morning. After the break is the Trinidad and Tobago Today morning show.
Being connected, it means a lot because, first of all, you can't do this by yourself.
When you have your phone, you always have somebody at your side. I could call for help, anything going like, you know.
I'm giving children the opportunity to experience outside of their neighborhood.
Digital is kind of a comfort, you feel good that people in your lives are always able to be contacted.
I was with the other network and I was having problems, so I joined Digicel and I never regretted it.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation. From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports with Nasira Mohammed, daily at 7 p.m.
Hi everybody, I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are
the Duncans.
Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
Your world moves fast, so do we. TTT News brings you the people, events, and issues that matter most. Stay informed, stay ahead. TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Monday, 6 July 2026. The time now, it is 6:07 a.m. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Virmala Balkaran, and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today. Well, before we take a look at what's trending this morning, just a note, it has been a very, very rainy morning, especially if you're getting into Port of Spain today. There is a bit of flooding already happening on Ryson Road in the vicinity of the port and also around the fire station also. So please be careful. As I said, lots of rain. We are currently under an adverse weather alert that has begun since around 1:30 this morning, and that will end around 12 noon today. Again, that's an adverse weather alert, and just remember that we need to look out for heavy rains and thunderstorm activity, and that's associated with low-level troughs interacting with the ITCZ. We'll keep you updated with all of that as information comes to hand. Well, let's take that look now at what's trending this morning. Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa has joined fellow CARICOM heads of government in St. Lucia for the opening ceremony of the 51st regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government. Over the coming days, regional leaders will discuss key issues affecting the Caribbean and explore ways to strengthen cooperation and advance the region's shared interests. Now, the Prime Minister is accompanied by Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Sean Sobers, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister Nicholas Morris, Minister Daryl Alahar, and Head of the Foreign Service Randall Karam. Later in the program, we speak with Professor Hamid Ghani for an outlook on what to expect over the coming days. And also, Caribbean Airlines has confirmed it has changed its bottled water supplier for its in-flight service. The airline says this decision was made in keeping with procurement rules set by the Office of Procurement Regulation, ensuring a fair and transparent process. It also says this change is part of its ongoing transformation program aimed at improving efficiency and long-term sustainability. Well, Caribbean Airlines adds that passengers can continue to expect the same standard of onboard service with a continued focus on safety, reliability, and customer experience. Well, reports are indicating that the airline has switched from Blue Waters to Dasani as its in-flight bottled water supplier. Well, Brazil fans, how are you doing this morning? I know it's heartbreak for the five-time champions as they're knocked out of the World Cup round of 16, going down 2-1 to Norway, with Erling Haaland scoring twice to seal Brazil's exit. Elsewhere, Morocco produced a dominant 3-0 win over co-host Canada to book their place in the quarterfinals, while France edged Paraguay 1-0 thanks to an Mbappe penalty in Philadelphia. Well, in the round of 32, Argentina survived a thriller, beating Cape Verde 3-2 after an extra time, with Messi scoring his 20th World Cup goal. Colombia also advanced with a 1-0 win over Ghana, courtesy of Arias, while Egypt squeezed past Australia on penalties after a 1-1 draw. Now, also, last evening, England defeated Mexico 3-2 to reach the World Cup quarterfinals. Well, welcome to a brand new week of Trinidad and Tobago Today, and we're so happy that you're starting your Monday with us. And now this morning, we're launching a brand new weekly segment, something you look forward to. It's called TTPS Today, in partnership with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, of course. And this week, we're focusing on keeping your family safe during the school vacation. Plus, with SEA results now out, we'll be speaking with mental health consultant Isaiah Lutchman about how parents can support children through disappointment and build resilience after setbacks. Now, this is an important conversation you don't want to miss. You know, so much happening on social media this week, and so many things that we're going to unpack about that SEA situation. Just remember that your child, they've done their absolute best, and you should always be proud of them no matter what. Or grab your cup of coffee and settle in. Trinidad and Tobago Today has begun.
Rivalries, predictions, and bragging rights. Who are you backing? Who's already making excuses? And who do you think will lift the trophy? Join hosts Mariah Ramharak and Nasira Mohammed live on The Final VAR, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. as they discuss every controversy, every goal, and review every match from football's biggest stage, along with a panel of guests. The Final VAR, where the debate is as exciting as the game. Watch exclusively on TTT and stream on TTT Live online.
Why is Talk City 91.1 FM the leading talk station in Trinidad and Tobago? Because nobody delivers conversations like we do. Start your mornings with Ground Report. Andy Pitbull Williams, Lennox Smith, and Nigel Snipes setting the agenda from 6 to 9 a.m. Then it's Off the Record with Stefan Reese and Mr. X, Fearless Talk, and the issues everybody's discussing. Stay connected with Sharon. Take it front with Officer Shabadi. Go beyond limits with Roland Stewart. Drive home with Heavy Duty and David Welch on Under the Radar. And wrap up your day with Kingsley and OB on The Wrap Up. Real talk, real people, real Trinidad and Tobago. Listen live on Talk City 91.1 FM and follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Talk City 91.1 FM, the #1 talk station in Trinidad and Tobago.
One day I was out playing with my friend Kevin, and he was really moody, kinda sad and angry at the same time. I asked him what was the matter. Someone in his family had been doing mean things to him. He said he had to keep it a secret. So I asked Kevin, is it a good secret or a bad secret? He said he didn't know. I explained good secrets are cool things like a surprise party or a gift for a special occasion. A bad secret is when someone hurts or harms you and tells you not to tell anyone. Sometimes they might give you little things to make sure you don't tell. That's another bad secret to keep. That's mean and controlling. Kevin said it definitely fell into the bad secret category. I felt this was something an adult should help with. Because as a child, when someone hurts you, you can feel really alone and afraid. And the best people to help you are the ones you love and really, really trust. I asked him if there was any adult that he trusted. So we worked up a little plan for Kevin to talk to one of them. A while after that, I could see my friend was doing much better. Now we tell all our pals about good secrets and bad secrets so that we can all feel brave, safe, and strong. Break the silence. Child abuse is one secret you should never keep.
Now, SCA results can bring moments of celebration for some families, but for others, they can also bring disappointment, uncertainty, and difficult emotions. Now, I'm sure you've probably seen a video that was circulating on social media this weekend, one that we will not put you through again. You know, we just, we don't believe that that was, you know, something that we should continue to, you know, harp on. But it is also important, you know, that we continue to talk to parents and children, especially parents, because how we respond in those moments can really have a lasting impact on their confidence and their self-esteem and their emotional well-being. Well, this morning we found it very important to be joined by mental health consultant Isaiah Lutchman, whose work focuses on developmental psychology and trauma and emotion regulation and the impact of parenting styles on individuals. And he's here this morning to help us understand how parents can really navigate disappointment in a healthy way, while still supporting their children who may not have received the results that they were hoping for. Well, good morning, Isaiah, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, Isaiah, SCA results often bring excitement, but, you know, they can also bring disappointment, as we've seen over the past few days. So from a psychological standpoint now, how much really does a parent's initial reaction and body language influence their child's self-esteem?
Okay, great. That's a wonderful question. So as we know, parents tend to be the first socialization factor for children. They are often the persons that children will look to with regards to how to shape the world around them. So based on how a parent may react, it will then inform the child and their own internal belief to how they should interpret things. So based on a parent's body language or wording of certain things or reaction to things, the child may then internalize a negative reaction as them being a failure. They may believe that the parent may love them less, or that their results are conditional on how much love they receive. So it's very important that parents in those moments monitor their own reactions, which may be difficult, and we have to be honest with that it might be hard in those moments to regulate when parents may have their own expectations. But children are very observant beings, right? And so they are aware more than we tend to notice them to be aware of.
You know, some parents may unintentionally make a child feel that their achievement isn't good enough. I'm saying unintentional because I don't think any parent would really want to do that. Well, you know, there's obviously an exception here and there. You know, because it didn't pass for a particular school or something like that, they may be a little bit upset. So what impact exactly now can you tell us? Can you really focus on that for us? What impact can this have both immediately and in the long term so that we warn parents about this?
Sure. So the words or the expressions that parents or that they may display can have a devastating and lasting impact, right? When a child may hear "you embarrassed me," they internalize that as a source of shame. Short-term wise, they also may hear things like "they didn't work hard enough." It tells the child that their best effort wasn't good enough, which can lead to a persistent fear of failure and a belief that no amount of effort will ever be sufficient. They may hear things like "you ruined your life if you didn't pass for a specific school choice," and that's the most damaging that children can hear, right? It tells them that their life has already been ended before it's truly begun. So the shame of not getting a first choice, a second choice, or the preferred choice can linger well into adulthood. These statements can contribute to lasting effects like anxiety, depression, and a fragile sense of self-worth that persist into adulthood. children at that early stage may begin to believe that their worth is conditional on their performance. And that belief can last well past the SE results are forgotten and moved past. So it's important to monitor and be aware of those things.
Now, Isaiah, if a parent is genuinely disappointed, right, what's the healthiest way now to process those emotions without placing that burden on their child?
Yeah, it's completely understandable for parents to feel disappointed, right? They may have invested time, effort, and often significant financial resources into the child's preparation for SDA, right? But it's important for them to be cognizant of their own expression, right? If there's an important distinction between a parent's disappointment and inadvertently harming the child. So a parent may need to take time away to step away and realize that in that moment, it's not about them, right? Yes, they may have contributed significantly, but it's the child that is the center and the focus of that moment. So taking time to first validate the child's emotions and then pulling back and realizing that disappointment is a normal reaction, but how you handle that disappointment is what's important, right? They need to regulate their own self, whether that looks like right now, I'm not in the headspace to properly deal with this. So I'm going to focus on something else in that moment, maybe celebrate the fact that the child at least succeeded in SEA. For those who didn't, it's not the end of the road. There's a chance again. And it's to sort of reflect and reconstruct that narrative on what else can I focus on in those moments. Because again, I want to reiterate that it's okay to feel disappointed, but it's what you do with that disappointment and how you express it inadvertently or in some cases can cause the harm. So knowing and navigating that is important. And one technique that you can use is just to simply breathe through the moment, right? Take deep breaths in and out. I know we tend to use that a lot in mental health, but it is important. It helps to regulate your nervous system. So breathe through it, and it helps to calm you down, and have a moment later on with a partner, someone you can talk to then vent out the frustration and the disappointment. Your child should not be the object that receives that.
You know, Isaiah, sometimes you find like, you know, you've heard parents saying it. I'm pretty sure we've all grown up hearing it, even, you know, our peers and their parents. And they're saying, well, you know, I didn't have this, or I never had those opportunities, and I want to give you that, or I want you to be what I could have never been. You know, I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer, and I didn't have the funds then. My parents can do it, but I want you to do it. So they're placing their own expectations or dreams on those children. Now, what would you say to parents who have done that, tying their child's placement to their own expectations and dreams?
Yeah. So this sort of goes back to what I was speaking earlier about, a little bit about that disappointment, right? Often parents are not just disappointed about the results, they are grieving about the dream that they imagined for the child, right? They have pictured their child at a particular school and that vision has been interrupted. But they have to ask themselves, am I disappointed in my child, or am I disappointed in myself, or the dreams and expectations I have pushed on to my child, right? They have to be honest with themselves and ask themselves, who is this for? Who was the dream for? Was it for myself or for my child? We need to separate the distinction that a child is not your experience lived on. A child is their own individual persons, and they are their own individual beings, meaning they have their own likes, dislikes, dreams. And to push your own dreams onto the child is not a fair assessment of the moment, right? They are going to have their own dreams and aspirations, and it's your job as the parent to help celebrate and to provide the necessary accommodations for the child to live out their dream. I want to just reiterate that their dream, not yours, right? It's understandable to have them to want to live out things you would have wanted for your life, but it's sort of unfair, a disadvantage to put the child at. It may not be what they necessarily may want. You may have wanted to be a doctor, but they would rather be something else, a baker, engineer, anything along those lines. And it's important for you as a parent to celebrate and be thankful that your child has dreams and aspirations, and then ask yourself, what can I do to help move towards that? And how can I be okay with the fact that I didn't accomplish these things in my lifetime, but I have a child who wants to accomplish their dreams and their goals. And now that I have the facilities to help foster that, what can I do to help my child to get to that point?
Yeah, absolutely. And to do the best that they can do and to create the life that,
Yes.
they will be comfortable in long after a parent may be gone from their life or anything like that. Now, Isaiah, for children now who feel like they've let their parents down and they're looking on this morning and they know that they did their absolute best, what advice would you give to them?
Oh, great. So the first few hours are usually the most critical. That's not to say that long after, meaning like right now, we're a few days after the SE results, right? This is the moment where a parent's reaction can either build resilience or inadvertently harm them, right? If you realize your child is blaming themselves, the parents need to immediately interrupt that narrative. They can say, I know you worked hard. I know you may be feeling a lot right now. And I want you to know that I'm proud of you, not because of your results, but because of your effort. The school placement does not change how I feel about you, or their results doesn't change how I feel about you, right? Your parents should also take responsibility for their own emotions if they realize they're overwhelmed. So they say they need time to process their own feelings, and that's okay. But right now, they should focus on the child and just let them know, want you to know that you are loved, and that this is just one step along the journey, right? Parents have to cultivate in those moments the ability for the child to build resilience. I want children to also know that this does not define the rest of their lives, right? SEA is just one step in a much larger story. We want to focus on that fact when we're speaking to children and parents dealing with children. SEA is one chapter in the book of your life, right? And just because one chapter may not have gone the way you wanted, it does not end your story, right? How then parents need to help focus the children and bring it back to, I still love you. My love is unconditional and it's not conditioned on your success in a specific area. And that helps to build resilience and let them know that failure or the shape of success can come in different aspects. It doesn't have to come in the way that they first see it. It doesn't have to come in a bright and big wrapped shiny box. It can come in simple moments, in smaller things, in little successes. And having that be the celebratory factor can help them understand that even later on, if I don't get the result I wanted, celebrating those moments that there was a result, or even in some cases the lack thereof, but navigating and picking yourself back up and trying again will help that. And it'll also help protect the parent and child relationship, where love and the ability to be there for your child is the dominant factor in all of that.
Yeah. Isaiah, before I let you go, my final question is, what message would you give now to every parent or SEA student? What would you want them to remember going forward into this new chapter of their lives?
Sure. So the one message I think that's salient for everyone to hear, or important for parents and children to hear, is that your child is not a statistic, right? A test score does not define their future. Your love and your belief in that child or the children is what matters more than any school placement, right? Children are not fixed outcomes. They are stories that unfold gradually. And education, we have to recognize, is not a one-size-fits-all endeavor. Some children succeed in different areas, and we have to be aware and accept that as well, right? And success cannot be measured solely by the name of an institution that a child attends, right? It has so much more. Let's raise children not just for the first choice or for the name of a prestigious school, but for the fullness of life. Let's walk them through the cycle of pass or fail. You get back up and you try again, right? Focus on unconditional love that gives children the courage to flourish and the space to be themselves and navigate that. Your child needs love more than ever, regardless of if they didn't pass the choice that you wanted or that they wanted. They just need you to be there with them, helping guide them through that moment, and above all else, celebrating and giving them the space to build that resilient factor.
Thank you very much, Isaiah, for sharing that thoughtful and practical advice. And as important as the exam results are, they're, as you said, only one chapter in a child's life and not the entire story. And the way we respond can really help, to shape how children see themselves tomorrow. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes.
All right, have a good day. Now, to every parent watching this morning, your child's value is not determined by a single exam, and your support and your encouragement and your belief in them may be the greatest gift that you can give to them during this time. I saw response to certain things on social media this weekend, and the response itself is saying that a parent worked really hard to ensure that a child could get to where they want them to be, and therein lies the problem. Again, it's where that child ends up, and they do their absolute best. We're putting too much pressure on our children these days. But as I also came from a family where, that was very, very important, and academic success and all of that. But at the end of the day, I'm still grateful to my parents and my support system for allowing me to grow and become everything that I wanted to be and the best at whatever I decided to do. And I really hope that resonates with you this morning, because our children need us. They absolutely do. The time now, 6:30 a.m. in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We take a break. There's more ahead on Trinidad and Tobago Today. Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
Being connected, it means a lot because, first of all, you can't do this by yourself.
When you have your phone, you always have somebody at your side. I could call for help, anything going on,
I'm giving children the opportunity to experience outside of their neighborhood.
Digicel is kind of a comfort, you feel good that people in your lives are always able to be contacted.
I was with the other network and I was having problems, so I joined Digicel, and I never regretted it.
What if possibility was only the beginning? Welcome to Limitless, a journey where ideas become action and action becomes impact. From breaking barriers and challenging misconceptions to designing with dignity and driving innovation with heart. This series explores how inclusion is moving from concept to community in Trinidad and Tobago. Across each episode, we meet the change makers and everyday leaders turning challenges into opportunity, building real solutions that change real lives, from possibility to impact. This is Limitless.
Your stories, your communities, your country. TTT News is everywhere, on the ground, across Trinidad and Tobago, and on every smart device. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Welcome to TTPS Today, a brand new weekly segment here on Trinidad and Tobago Today, created in partnership with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Monday, we'll be sitting down with TTPS Media Ambassador Sergeant Devon Jagrib to break down the law and answer your questions and discuss the issues that matter most, from crime prevention and public safety to your rights and responsibilities as citizens. Now, the goal is simple: to provide practical, reliable information that really helps to keep you and your family and your community safe. But with schools now closed for the July-August vacation, today's focus is simple: keeping our children safe during the holidays. Well, Sergeant Jagger, welcome to our very first edition of TTPS Today.
Thank you, Ms. Balkaran. It's truly a privilege to be here. I'd first like to say good morning to you and good morning to the executive of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service as well as the 1st Division and 2nd Division officers. Good morning to our viewing public as well as our local, regional and international viewership. So what we intend to do this week is to give our viewers an exclusive look into some of the initiatives of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and its community operations. So we would like to discuss public safety, practical public safety that is, and also answer some of your questions and inform our communities, keep them informed.
Now, once again, welcome to the show, and it's really going to be a great journey as we, continue to unpack and to edify and educate the public. So before we get into today's topic, I'd love for our viewers to actually get to know you. So tell us a bit about your journey in the TTPS. When did your policing career begin, and what areas have you served in, and what really led you to become a police officer?
Well, I've been a police officer for the past 23 years. Wow. So I've had the honor to serve in various specialist sections. Some of those would be the motorcycle escort section, the guard and emergency branch, the child protection unit, gender-based violence unit, and currently the human resource branch. So my journey has offered me a diverse landscape of both operational and administrative realities. I started my career basically in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in 2003. And it was basically triggered by my own desire to be solution-oriented. And because of that solution-oriented concept, I saw that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service was a perfect fit for me. So it gave me an opportunity to offer myself to serve and to serve the country.
Now let's jump into this week's topic. So it's school. School is out. So it's the July-August vacation, and many children will be spending more time at home or outdoors. But from a policing perspective now, what are some of the biggest safety concerns that parents and guardians and caretakers should keep in mind during the holidays?
Yes, well, school is out, so we have to ensure that at all times our children are safe. But before I go into some of the tips that may be practical in this instance, I'd like to bring some awareness to parents of the Children's Act, Chapter 4601, specifically Section 4, which outlines that parents have a responsibility and a duty of care to their children. And any act that may willfully expose the child to neglect, abandonment, assault, or cause the child to suffer any type of trauma or injury to their health is an offense. So I want to implore that our parents be mindful. Please do not leave your children unattended. And don't leave your children in the care of adults who also may cause them harm. Because ultimately, we have the Children's Act that has safeguards for the children. And if you run afoul of the law, then you're liable to some very severe penalties. For instance, on summary conviction, you may have to pay a fine of $6,000 and a term of imprisonment for 6 years. And on conviction and indictment, a fine of $50,000 and 10 years imprisonment. So these are some of the things that we have to take into consideration when we are treating with our children, especially now knowing that school is closed and they're at home, and we want to ensure that safety is of paramount importance. Now, you might tell yourself, all right, so I have their grandparents with them, which is fine. However, if that grandparent or elderly person is incapacitated, infirmed, or in a state where they themselves can't take care of themselves, even though the person is an adult, they would be incapable of really meeting the needs of a child. And therein is the problem, because it will not, in these circumstances in particular, exonerate you from any type of prosecution, because you are ultimately also in a position where you have to ensure that there's a duty of care for those elderly people as well. So please, the safety and security of our children is important.
Yeah. Now, many parents still have to work during the day. That's just the reality of life. So what advice now would you give to those who may have to leave older children or teenagers at home unsupervised?
Yes, well, yes, it's a circumstance where those things are a reality. Parents should really do an assessment of the older children, because it's more than just age, it's about maturity. You have to ask yourself the question, is my son or my daughter really ready to take that responsibility to be home alone with the younger children? Some of the things that you also have to take into consideration when it comes to safety at the homes is you have to ensure that the home is secure. Child-proof the home. Make sure that you secure medication and household cleaning products. You place emergency numbers in a visible area where, in the event of an emergency, the child can be able to contact the emergency response units. And of course, if applicable, you can also provide a contact number for a responsible adult that they can resort to as well.
Now, you spoke about tips, so I want to get into that now. Children are often out and they're riding bikes and they're visiting friends, they're swimming, or they're not just playing in the communities during the holidays. So what are some practical safety tips now that families should follow to reduce any risk of accidents or becoming victims of crime as well?
Yes. Well, we appreciate the fact that we are in the July-August vacation time and children are at home. They'll want to participate in all manner of activities because they have a lot of time on their hands. So parents need to parent their children, right? You have to establish set boundaries and areas that are off limits, right? Discuss with your children basic safety rules. For instance, you may want to endeavor to have your children ride their bicycles in the streets. Talk to your children, let them know, listen, if you have to ride in the residential area, of course, be very careful. Ride on the right-hand side of the road. Take your time. If you see a car approaching, slow down, stop, allow the car to pass, and continue enjoying your cycling. Also, if the children may have a reason to venture into some of the areas that may be off limits, please ensure that they are accompanied by an adult. And when I say those areas that we consider off limits, just to name a few, but it's not limited to it. For instance, the mall, movie theaters, another friend's home. And of course, we have a demographic of people who live in rural areas, and you know, there's the ponds and the rivers. So you want to ensure that there's an adult there present in the event of anything as well. All right. This is some of the things that we have to take into consideration, especially when it comes to children and their safety. So it's not a one day and stop thing. It's something that is consistent. You have to always be talking to your children, reminding them of some of the dangers that exist, so that ultimately safety and security is of paramount importance.
But Sergeant, if we're talking about safety now, we have to talk about social media and you know, online gaming and all of that. That has become so popular. I mean, I would say back in my day, that was not very much a thing, but now it is very much a threat as well. So what should parents be aware of when it comes to protecting their children online now?
Yeah, so gaming is a real thing now, especially with our young teenagers and young children. I myself have children, so I'm very aware of the gaming culture. But we have to take into consideration, or rather look at the online gaming platforms like public spaces. There are people who are there waiting to exploit our children, people who are waiting to financially scam them. So have a conversation with your children, warn them, have them be on alert, so that some of these games have what you call in-game chat features. So persons who may be trying to look for an easy target may try to reach out to your children while playing the games in these in-game chat settings. But you want to speak to your child to the point where they understand what is a red flag. For instance, a question might pop up in the in-game chat setting. How old are you? Where do you live? Who do you live with? Where is your parents working? Are you home alone? Those things are red flags. So once you have that conversation with your child and get them sensitized to what red flags are, they can bring that to your attention and mitigate a potential problem.
Yeah. Well, my final question for you this morning, Sergeant. If a parent or a child ever feels unsafe or they notice any suspicious activity, what should they do and how can they quickly reach the TTPS?
Well, let's take, for instance, if there's a situation where persons may want to provide information of a crime, there's avenues such as the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service website, that is www.ttps.gov.tt. There's the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service app. You can download the app from the Google Play Store. It's free of charge, so you can download the app and you can utilize those platforms to give your information, and most likely it will be responded to. Additionally, there's in the event that there's information about a child or children, there's the Children's Authority hotline that you can contact, which is 996. If it's a situation where it's a criminal offense or a crime in progress, I suggest you contact the emergency line 999 to have somewhat of an immediate response. Outside of that, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service continues to have its one-door policy, so citizens can feel free at any moment to visit any station within the jurisdiction of Trinidad and Tobago and request to speak to an officer, and I'm certain that officers are there to assist with whatever needs they may have.
All right, Sergeant, thank you so much for joining us and sharing these important reminders as, you know, families are heading into the school vacation. And in today's discussion, we really hope that we've given some practical steps that they can take to stay safe over the coming weeks. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Remember, this is just the beginning. TTPS Today will air every Monday right here on Trinidad and Tobago Today, where we'll continue having meaningful conversations with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service on the issues affecting our communities. Thank you for joining us once again, Sergeant, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Just a reminder, there is an adverse weather alert in effect. That comes to an end around 12 o'clock today. That's 12 noon. But in the interim, please be safe out there. It has been very, very rainy this morning. There was some flooding, some pooling of water on the roads, especially getting into the capital. So please keep us updated on our chats. If you're streaming us live on Facebook or YouTube, send us a message. Let us know what's the weather like in your neck of the woods. We take a break and then we come back with more.
Parents looking for the ultimate summer experience for your children? This July, give them the perfect blend of academic excellence and creative expression right here in Tacarigua. Let their creativity soar at our Kids Summer Music Camp. From the sweet sounds of the steel pan to an exciting final ensemble, we keep your children engaged from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Want to secure the academic future? Empower your child with our intensive SPA and CSEC math boot camps with essential past paper practice. Invest in their future. Weekly rates for academic boot camps are just $400. Or get the complete 4-week package for $1,600. The full 4-week music camp for just $1,600 per camper. Call or WhatsApp 482-8011 right now to register. Give your child the head start they deserve.
Being connected, it means a lot because, first of all, you can't do this by yourself.
When you have your phone, you always have somebody at your side. I could call for help, anything going on, you know.
You know, I'm giving children the opportunity to experience outside of their neighborhood.
Digital is kind of a comfort, you know, you feel good that people in your lives are always able to be contacted.
I was with the other network and I was having problems, so I joined Digicel. And I never regretted it.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation. From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Resilient, brave, worthy. 12 majestic women,
12 majestic journeys. Majestic Makeover Season 3, coming soon to TTT and TTT Live Online.
Majestic Makeover Season 3 is powered by...
Coming up, Barbados kicks off festival season with Crop Over, where you can live like a local. Moments of discovery and joy during Culinary Month in Antigua and Barbuda. Find that hero within you. As these women of vision share their stories of success. It's Caribbean Passport TV on TTT, Tuesday at 8 p.m.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. We report the news, real stories in real time. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Now, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa is in St. Lucia for the 51st CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, where regional leaders are tackling issues ranging from security and trade to climate resilience and food security. Now, the meeting also comes under new leadership, with St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre presiding over his first summit as CARICOM chairman. But the spotlight is expected to be on Trinidad and Tobago's stance over the reappointment of CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett. The government says the process was flawed and has made it abundantly clear it will not recognize the reappointment. So what does this mean for the future of CARICOM and regional cooperation? Political scientist Professor Hamid Ghani joins us now. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
Good to have you here again.
Thank you.
Always something to discuss with you every week, and we're really grateful that you've been able to join us so much. Now, Professor, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa has arrived in St. Lucia for the 51st CARICOM Heads of Government meeting. Now, given the issues surrounding the Secretary General's reappointment, how significant is this summit for Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, this summit is very significant. The backstory to what is going to transpire is clearly that at the last CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, the issue of the election of the Secretary General was not, and I repeat, not on the agenda. And that was confirmed by the chef de cabinet, Janice Miller, who would prepare the agenda and so on. So it was not on the agenda. And the politicians decided in their retreat in Nevis on an ad hoc basis to just put the matter out there and to go ahead and conduct this election with Trinidad and Tobago being absent, Antigua and Barbuda being absent, and the Bahamas being absent, and to just declare that there was a majority vote and that was the end of that. That has created a furor. And I think what has added to it was that the meeting was from the 24th to the 27th of February. On the 1st of March, the official communique of what transpired at the meeting was put out. There was not a word of mention of the re-election of the Secretary General. It was the outgoing chair, Dr. Terence Drew, who put out a statement on the 25th of March, about a month after the meeting, that Dr. Barnett had been reappointed. Now, all of this is very poor governance on the part of CARICOM. It doesn't represent very well. And I think the controversy started from that moment. And because CARICOM did not dot its I's, cross its T's, and conduct the election of the Secretary General in a proper manner in terms of the governance that is required, we have arrived at a state of controversy where some politicians are saying one thing and others are saying another. And it is divided. But the cause of the division was the fact that the election of the Secretary General was never on the agenda, and the politicians decided to go ahead and do their own thing.
Now, with Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre now serving as CARICOM chairman, Professor, what role should he really play in helping to resolve this issue?
Well, he's going to have to engage in a fair amount of mediation, but I think the situation has gone beyond whatever mediation can bring. The positions are hardwired. The governments of Barbados and Guyana have taken a firm position. Trinidad and Tobago has taken a firm position the other way. Jamaica has started to waver somewhat. And what we're seeing is it's going to be a bit of a standoff. And I think that the issue of how CARICOM runs its business, it's pretty much like, calling a general election, but you forgot to dissolve Parliament. And that, I think, is really what is going on here. It was never on the agenda. So what caused it and so on, we may want to go back into that, but delving back into the past is not going to be helpful in terms of going forward. And I think that really what needs to happen here is that there needs to be a clear recognition that the process that was adopted for this re-election was improper and not in keeping with all the lofty speeches you heard yesterday about all of the great things that are going to happen. This episode is a dark episode and does not augur well for CARICOM going forward. And I think Prime Minister Philip Pierre is very much aware of that. Prime Minister Drew, in his comments yesterday, was trying to dig in his heels and say that members should all attend retreats and caucuses and meetings and so on. Yes, members can do that if they're looking at the agenda, and what's on the agenda is not what you're going to talk about. That you're going to go into a retreat and you're going to come up with something and do an ad hoc election process and throw that out and expect Caribbean people to accept that kind of shoddy sort of offhanded kind of handling of something as important as the Secretary General. I mean, the United Nations doesn't do its business like that. The African, Caribbean, and Pacific states don't do their business like that. The OAS, none of them, they don't do their business like that when electing a Secretary General. But somehow we as Caribbean people are expected to accept this kind of shoddy and slipshod type of treatment of something as important as the Secretary General. And clearly the chef de cabinet, Janice Miller, is saying that it was never on the agenda. So CARICOM has work to do where governance is concerned.
Well, Professor, I really want to continue this conversation, so I'm going to ask if you'd like to stay with us just a bit for after the news, and then we can continue this, because I really want to ask you again what you would consider a successful outcome for all of this. So would you please stay with us, and we'll join you again after the news?
Sure.
All right, the time now 6:57 on Trinidad and Tobago Today. We'll continue that discussion a little bit later on. Carrie's up next with the major network news. Another reminder, we are under an adverse weather alert. Now that is ending around 12 noon. Please continue to monitor our social media pages for all the information about that. Well, coming up inside the next hour, as I said, we continue that conversation. Also coming up on Sunday, July 19th, we have that finals watch party here. So we can't wait to welcome you right here at the Mecca 11A Maraval Road, Newtown, Port of Spain. TTT Limited. We're always doing great things to, bring you here and have some fun with all our personalities, our presenters, our radio personalities as well. We take a break. Carrie's up next. I see you inside the next hour.
Being connected, it means a lot because, first of all, you can't do this by yourself.
When you have your phone, you always have somebody at your side. I could call for help, anything going on,
I'm giving children the opportunity to experience outside of their neighborhood.
Digital is kind of a comfort, you feel good that people in your lives are always able to be contacted.
I was with the other network and I was having problems, so I joined Digicel, and I never regretted it.
Whatever the skies bring, stay prepared with TTT weather. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Since 1972, one sound has been living in the heart of Trinidad and Tobago, the longest running radio station in the nation.
Night and day, always.
We're your holiday soundtrack, whether it's on your day off,
long drives, or house lives.
We are always sweet.
This is music with meaning, music with memories.
Music that feels like home.
And it's not just the songs, it's the voices you trust, personalities you've grown with.
Laughter that sounds familiar.
This isn't just radio, it's tradition. It's memories.
It's part of who we are.
Sweet 100.1 FM, the rhythm of our identity, part of your family.
Always 100, guide you on your way. Sweet 100, sweet 100, 100.
Good morning. This is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. The Met Service is warning of a high chance of heavy showers and thunderstorms today as low-level troughs interact with the intertropical convergence zone. Forecasters estimate a 70% likelihood of significant rainfall, with Tobago and northern and eastern Trinidad expected to experience the most intense weather, although impacts could extend to other areas. Residents should be prepared for temporary traffic disruptions, street and flash flooding, localized ponding, gusty winds, and rough seas near thunderstorms. There's also the risk of landslides and landslips in vulnerable areas. Motorists and residents in flood and landslide-prone communities are urged to remain alert, exercise caution, and monitor conditions closely. The Met Service advises the public to stay updated through official forecasts at www.metoffice.gov.tt. In other news, strengthening collaboration in healthcare, research and training, the UE of the University of West Indies St. Augustine campus, the Northwest Regional Health Authority, and the Princess Elizabeth Home for Handicapped Children Association have signed 2 new memoranda of understanding. The agreements are expected to promote greater knowledge sharing, expand training opportunities, and support improved healthcare outcomes for patients and communities. Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, UE Professor Hariharan Sitaraman, says the partnerships will also improve access to dental care for special needs patients, while strengthening links between academia and the public health sector.
One is being led by the Dental School of the Faculty of Medical Sciences through its special needs dentistry clinic and will provide dental care for special needs patients, clinical support and training at no cost to the patients once funding exists. We look forward to using the home's surgical theater as much as possible to carry out these treatments.
Professor Sitaraman says the collaboration reflects the university's commitment to building partnerships that extend beyond the classroom and address national development priorities.
It is our hope that one of the outcomes will be the development of these systems that boost the efficiency of our healthcare system. These plans fit into the broader objective of developing healthcare engineering solutions for Trinidad and Tobago public health sector. It's no exaggeration to say that the health sector, public and private, would benefit tremendously from these kinds of alliances, which can only bode well for the population. These 2 MOUs are well aligned to the university's commitment to building partnerships outside of academia to support both our students and external bodies in ways that enrich learning throughout our society.
The agreements were signed to strengthen collaboration in healthcare, education, and research. Retracing the journey that transformed the steel pan from a stigmatized instrument into a national symbol and globally celebrated innovation, a new cultural production is commemorating the 75th anniversary of TASPO's historic voyage to the Festival of Britain. Writer Dr. Josephine Torrell Brown says it revisits the events that led Trinidad and Tobago into representing its national instrument on the international stage.
Trinidad and Tobago heard that Hellgate Steel Band from Antigua was going to represent at the Festival of Britain, then they said that can never be, because here the pan was born. Here is where Steel Band would have come from, and therefore they decided that is the Steel Band Association at the time, decided we have to let Trinidad go and represent our instrument.
The commemorative project grew out of UTT's Masters in Carnival Studies program, giving students the opportunity to research, produce, and perform the story of Taspo while developing their creative and artistic skills.
Opportunities for them to learn, opportunities for them to shine, opportunities for them to express themselves and to show their talent. So each person, each student had a specific role to play. So we had a creative director as one of the students, we have a talent manager, we have, well, many of them are actors doing the music and all of that. So the students not only did the research along with me, along with the notes they got from class, but they also expressed it in the best way that they know how.
And that's what's making the news at this time. Apologies. The TASPO commemoration will continue in London, where conferences, performances, and an open-air concert will celebrate the orchestra's role in launching the steel pan onto the world stage. And that's what's making the news at this time. When we come back, it's hour number 2 of Trinidad and Tobago Today.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
Attention viewers in Trinidad and Tobago. The Truth of God now airs on the TTT network every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. You won't want to miss the dynamic preaching of Pastor Jennings as he speaks from God's Holy Bible. The Truth of God, Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. on the TTT network.
Hey, up for this exciting challenge and confident about your business? If you are, the 10-20 feature is just for you. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
Why is Talk City 91.1 FM the leading talk station in Trinidad and Tobago? Because nobody delivers conversations like we do. Start your mornings with Ground Report. Andy Pitbull Williams, Lennox Smith, and Nigel Snipes setting the agenda from 6 to 9 a.m. Then it's Off the Record with Stefan Reese and Mr. X, Fearless Talk, and the issues everybody's discussing. Stay connected with Sharon. Take it front with Officer Shabadi. Go beyond limits with Roland Stewart. Drive home with Heavy Duty and David Welch on Under the Radar. And wrap up your day with Kingsley and OB on The Wrap Up. Real talk, real people, real Trinidad and Tobago. Listen live on Talk City 91.1 FM and follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Talk City 91.1 FM, the #1 talk station in Trinidad and Tobago.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
to Trinidad and Tobago today on TTT. Well, in the last hour, we were unpacking everything happening at that 51st CARICOM Heads of Government meeting as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honourable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, is now in St. Lucia for that event. Well, still on the line with us, Professor Hamid Ghani. Good morning again, Professor. Thank you for staying on with me.
Sure.
Now, Professor, from a diplomatic perspective, how can Trinidad and Tobago now firmly defend its position while maintaining strong relationships with CARICOM partners?
Well, I think that Trinidad and Tobago has a different foreign policy approach to many of the other CARICOM countries with regard to activities in the region pertaining to the United States administration. And there are flashpoints where we differ with other CARICOM states. We differ with them on the issue of the zone of peace. We differ with them on the issue of interdiction of drug boats in the Southern Caribbean. And we had a very different position with regard to Venezuela when compared to the other CARICOM countries. Also, we had the staunchest defense of Guyana that any CARICOM country had put forward. No other CARICOM country had expressed quite as forceful terms as Prime Minister Prasad-Bissessar on the issue of Guyana's territorial integrity. And I think that the question of what is going to happen at this summit, you could see a lot of the speakers yesterday were avoiding the elephant in the room. And as a consequence of that, it is obvious that there is going to be some further discussion that is going to take place. How much of it will be in public and how much will be in private is yet to be determined. The Secretary General is but one issue. Some of the speakers yesterday, the youth speaker, Mr. Joseph, was very critical of the CARICOM heads for issues that have remained unresolved. And I think that, he also very obviously avoided speaking about Haiti, and he avoided speaking about Venezuela. He was very clear. He says he hasn't spoken about this, he hasn't spoken about that. And these are issues that need to be confronted and need to be addressed. Prime Minister Prasad-Bissessar was declared to be persona non grata by the Venezuelan legislature. CARICOM never even raised a finger to stand in defense of her, to say a word. So I think that there are lots of little undercurrents and flashpoints that clearly indicate what is going on. So Prime Minister Philip Pierre has a task on his hands to bring everyone together and have some kind of discussion. I rather suspect a lot of this may be closed-door discussion. But if matters are not going in a particular direction, they are going to spill out into the open. We still have the unresolved issue of the kidnapping of Brent Thomas. Prime Minister Prasad-Bissessar raised it on the last occasion as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago being kidnapped from Barbados and being brought back to Trinidad. The word kidnap was used, or abduction, whichever one you want to call it, was used by a High Court judge in a matter in Trinidad and Tobago. It is a contentious matter, and up to now we have not had any resolution or information or public answer with regard to the use of a CARICOM Impacts aircraft to go to Barbados and come back. So as these things remain unresolved and not spoken about, the longer it goes on, the sore gets worse and worse, and it's going to require more than just a plaster to put on the sore.
Well, Professor, before we go, looking ahead now, what would you, in your professional opinion, consider a successful outcome from this meeting for Trinidad and Tobago and for CARICOM?
I think a successful outcome would be to confront head-on the issue of the re-election of the Secretary General. Her term of office ends, I think, on the 14th of August or thereabouts. And if that is the case, then that matter needs to be addressed. And there are some other issues, which are policy issues, and every country is entitled to its own foreign policy. Many of these meetings, they're very much talk shops. A lot of talk and no action really. We don't really see much action after these CARICOM meetings. So we have another meeting, and you have a lot of nice speeches and so on. But the Caribbean people are not getting the action that they require, and I think that This meeting, if it is to be successful, must be clearing the way for some clear action to be taken. A lot of nice speeches yesterday, wonderful, lofty stuff. Usually this ends up not going anywhere, and you have the next meeting and you make lofty speeches again. CARICOM has got to lift its game and demonstrate to Caribbean people that it has the kind of political wherewithal to be able to make the talk happen. And that is important. And it must not descend into these kind of, little village talk, backroom setups, Caribbean fix-ups to appoint someone. Do it properly. Put it on the agenda. Have a proper search process. Have a proper discussion process and have a proper vote on it. Don't do it the way they did it in Nevis. That was shameful. And I think that, you can't let that stand. That has got to be resolved. One way or the other, it has to be resolved.
All right. Thank you, Professor. And we'll be talking to you throughout the rest of the week, I'm sure, just as things continue to arise from this meeting. So we'll talk to you soon. Have a good day and be safe in the rain.
Thank you very much. And the same to you.
All right, take care. All right, that was Professor Hamid Ghani helping us to really just, as I continue to say, unpack the 51st Heads of Government meeting in CARICOM. And our Prime Minister is in attendance. So we'll continue, as I said, to bring you all those updates. Well, we're moving ahead with the show this morning. So many amazing people we get to have on the set. And today is no different. Well, artificial intelligence is transforming industries around the world and technology as well. Now, one regional entrepreneur is working in the Caribbean and has an opportunity to be more than just a consumer, just doing so much in the field of AI and all of that. Well, joining us this morning is founder of Future Caribbean and co-founder of Acti Advisors, Lily Dash. Good morning, Lily.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. We've been talking so much about AI, and many people hear the term AI every single day. But what is Future Caribbean's vision, and why do you believe that the Caribbean is well positioned to play a bigger role in this space?
Yeah. Well, I say the Caribbean is one of the world's great opportunity regions. The fragmentation that we just heard from Professor, this fragmentation that we have is very costly, right? It's costly in time, and connectivity, we must figure out how to connect together to each other, but then we can connect to the world. If we can't figure out how to connect together, it's very difficult to connect to the world, and the world is there to do business with. We must connect to these global markets. So Future Caribbean is all about empowering the entrepreneur. If we look around globally of those that were able to make real changes in their economies in China, in the US, otherwise, it's really the entrepreneur. So we're in this new phase. The world has changed. In the last few months, we now have agentic AI, which is this brand new wave of technology. You could say it's the biggest wave yet. It includes the mobile wave, it includes the blockchain wave, it includes the cloud wave, all together accumulating into this huge wave that we can seriously take advantage of here in the Caribbean. So it's a global agentic AI build-a-thon, global call for global talent, so whether that's in China, India, but also if you're a builder in Georgetown, in Bridgetown, and Kingston, you can apply. And we've got incredible partners like the New York Stock Exchange, where the finals will be hosted, IDB, Acti, which is one of the world's global venture ecosystems out of Silicon Valley. So we're encouraging teams to apply across 10 tracks. So Caribbean relevant, it's a global build-a-thon, but Caribbean relevant tracks. So think tourism, energy, blue economy, finance, music and arts. Right? There's disaster coordination, right? What agentic AI is doing is you're able to compress time. In the Caribbean, we're accustomed to waiting like 51 years for things to. How can you compress time so that things can happen much more quickly, and what impacts will that have on our economies and to lives if we can do that?
Yeah. Now, Lily, many young people are interested in AI, as you know, but they don't come from a technical background. So what advice would you give to someone wondering where to begin?
Yeah, I mean, in the last few months, we've seen what these models, whether that's Anthropic, Claude, what OpenAI has brought, now we're just at such a unique time where entrepreneurs can access technologies at pennies on the dollar. What it would have cost millions of dollars to do before, to found a technology company, you can build it in a weekend practically. And that goes a lot to say for us in the Caribbean. A lot of the time our governments spend tens of millions of dollars on technology to get to the Caribbean to realize it's kind of not fit for purpose. Now we can customize and create our own technology ourselves, like pennies on the dollar, whether you're a technologist or not. The technologies available to us are really incredible.
Now, Lily, what are some of the biggest challenges preventing the Caribbean from becoming a leader in AI, in your opinion? And how do we overcome them now?
You know, what Professor said just now, and it's so fitting that we have this CARICOM heads of state meeting today when I'm on the show. The fragmentation is costing us enormously, right? There's 100 million people of Caribbean heritage in the world. 45 million live in the Caribbean and 60 million live overseas, but that doesn't mean that we can work together. Like, also, I say this, like if you look under the hood of any large tech company, you're gonna, whether that's NVIDIA, whether that's Facebook, whether that's Google DeepMind, you're gonna find Caribbean people, right? And that's a lot with this initiative. I've been meeting them every day. Every day they've been coming up, like in London, in New York, wherever, just heads of science and agentic drone companies, just like, and you ask them, why do you want to be part of this? And they're like, I want to help shape a region that shaped me. It's awesome. But the fragmentation, the technology can help us come together at scale and at pace, because we've had a capacity, you know, economies of scale, when we don't have an economy of scale, we struggle with capacity. So we end up with these mostly off systems rather than always on systems. If we could create an always on system across all of the Caribbean territories, oh my gosh, we could attract such enormous global capital to this region.
Yeah. Now, Lily, tell us about Future Caribbean's current initiatives, including there's a build-a-thon, I believe, and how can entrepreneurs and developers and innovators really get involved?
Yeah, okay. So innovation does not happen in isolation. It's a collaborative endeavor. So a build-a-thon is a collaborative endeavor. It's like a tech accelerator. It's like a competition, but we've brought on board like almost 100+ advisors from all of the, like IDB, the UN, Citibank, Google DeepMind, that these entrepreneurs can speak to during their course of their build. We give the top 40 teams 21 days of H200 class compute to build for a sprint period, and they're building in collaboration with advisors that are helping them hone their products. So they're not building a square peg in a round hole. You know, they're working with the domain expertise to have their back, which is what we need, right? A lot of us in the Caribbean, we work very isolated in countries, isolated in businesses, and that's just not how great transformation happens. It happens together.
Well, thank you very much, Lily, for joining us this morning. Any closing words before we go?
Yeah, join us. Please go to futurecaribbean.com. If you're a builder, if you've had a great idea, if you're in technology, if you're interested in AI, if you can think of a solution, even if you're not a technologist at all, but you can think of a solution that would really make a meaningful difference in the Caribbean in any of those 10 tracks, apply, be a part of the community. We've got like a growing community of like 1,000 people, a 500-member WhatsApp group right now, which is just pinging off all the time with incredible talent and ideas, and it's great.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Lily. AI is undoubtedly shaping the future, you know, and it's encouraging to hear that Caribbean innovators are working to ensure that, you know, the region has a seat at that table. So, Lily, once again, thank you for joining us this morning. We wish you all the best with Future Caribbean and your mission to really build the next generation of AI companies from the Caribbean.
Thank you.
All right, we hope to have you back soon.
I hope to be back.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, there's so much more on Trinidad and Tobago today. Remember, an adverse weather alert is in effect until 12 noon today. Lots of rain, especially if you are on the roads today. Please, please, please be safe.
Sunday, July 19th, all roads lead to the Mecca, 11 a.m. Maraval Road. The Digicel and TTT Limited Media Network presents Game On, the finale, the ultimate football watch party experience. Get ready to feel the energy, the excitement, and the passion for the biggest match of the tournament, the final showdown. Who will lift the trophy? And yeah, the best part, it's absolutely free. And you know, Trinis like freeness. But there's a catch. You must secure your exclusive access pass to gain entry. Log on to www.islandetickets.com to get yours.
Gates open 1 p.m. So come early. Bring out your friends. Bring out your crew. Bring out the family.
Stay locked into TDT Limited Media Network, Suite 100.1, Next 99.1, Talk City 91.1 FM for all the details. Game On, the finale.
Don't just watch it.
Experience it.
Powered by Digicel, Real Connections, Creamy Novelties, Live a Little, Jade Monkey Bar Tobago, Campari, Embrace the Mix, Magnum, Tech Charge, Stamina Energy, Rise to the Occasion, Blue Waters, Life is better with Blue Waters, Cafe Barista, Savor the Moment, the Castello Prosecco, Stoli Vodka, Bold by Design, Allegra, Relief Treatment that works, and the TTT Limited Media Network.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
Your heart, brain, and body work hard every day. Give them the support they deserve with omega-3. Packed with essential fatty acids, omega-3 helps support heart health, brain function, and overall wellness. Whether you're staying active, focused, or simply living life to the fullest, live healthier with omega-3. Wellness that works from within. Tune in to Wellness Unlocked on TTT Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:45 a.m.
Your news, anytime, anywhere. TTT News brings you the facts that matter most, on air and online. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
An opportunity for young dancers to train with some of the very best. And 5, 6, 7, 8 Dance Studio is launching its July, August, or Java programs, giving dancers from beginners to aspiring professionals the chance to really learn from an exceptional faculty of local international instructors. And one of the highlights of this year is the return of the internationally acclaimed Trinbagonian choreographer, Juilliard graduate, and founder of Ronald A. Taylor, who is back home to share his expertise and inspire the next generation. We're also joined by Miss Charlene Harris as well. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you on this rainy Monday?
Good. You got to give a positive spin on it.
I know. I saw you got here really early. So I said, wow, that's a very early start for you this morning. Now, Ronald, I want to start with you. You've really built an impressive international career. Congratulations on all you've achieved. But you've always maintained strong ties to Trinidad and Tobago. So what does it mean to now to return home and invest in young dancers here?
Because people invested in me since I was 17 years of age, and I believe that it is important to get what it is you've learned internationally and bring it back home so you develop that just not a dancer, but an artist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a difference, you know, that fine-tuning the technique and the styles of dances that you learn. And in Trinidad, we have such a variety of styles that hones the dancers for the national and the international stage. So for me, it's very important in terms of imparting that, because having a conversation with my now deceased father, he said to me that the cemetery is the greatest place of knowledge. And I said, okay, but I don't want my knowledge to go to the cemetery with me. So it's important to give back, and just not me, but other international artists who come home also impart that knowledge.
Yeah. Now, I have to ask you, you know, you've developed your own signature contemporary Caribbean technique.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's known as dingle. So tell us about that style, and how does it really reflect Caribbean culture and identity?
Yes. When I, back to Astor Johnson, who was my artistic mentor, he said to us one day to go out and take classes, because when he's ready to do technical work, he requires us to be skilled. And he said to us that he was a choreographer, not a teacher. He could warm me up, but he couldn't teach. So a light bulb went off in my head and said, well, I want to be able to develop the dancer as well as choreograph. So I decided to build my own technique. So the technique I call Dingole because there is Paul Taylor who has his own technique in America.
Okay.
So if I said it was the Taylor technique, they will sort of automatically go to
the
Paul.
Other Taylor.
So I chose a Trinidadian world that best reflects our movement, because we have such a wide variety of moving and cultural dances within Canada. So I came up with the word Dingole. So people always interested where the word comes from and what does it mean, dancing in unusual movement. And in the technique, I put together Caribbean folk, modern dance, and ballet. And, you know, as time goes on, things change, because I believe that technique is a fluid experience. And even when I passed on, whoever teaches my technique may have their own interpretation of it, like Martha, like Horton, and whatnot. So that's how I came up with the technique and the name.
Now, Charlene, over the years, your studio has really produced amazing dancers, and they've earned scholarships, and they've gone to internationally respected institutions as well. So what do you believe has been the key to that success?
Hard work and discipline.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. To create a young dancer, or even someone who's really not interested in dance. Our studio is very structured, lots of discipline, lots of hard work. So it basically comes down to that. For you to get through in an audition, you just can't walk in. It's not only based on talent, it's personality, it's confidence. Yes, it's your ability to get the work as well. So yeah, it takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline in your art form
And now
and
we
to
have
yourself.
Now we have the opportunity to be a part of a program that's a 3-week-long program.
3 weeks.
So tell me about that now. You know, the different styles and what the participants can really experience, and what can we expect from that final showcase on July 31st?
Okay, we have 2 different programs. We're catering for 2 sets of dancers. One is for the dancer that has been training for many years, a pre-professional type program. And then we have one for the younger ones, the beginners, those who have just started in it just for a few years, maybe, you know, a little 5 years. They're not that experienced. So we have the dance intensive, which is it's exactly what it says it is. It's an intensive. So at that intensive, we really push and challenge the dancers. We have all styles. We have Limon, we have Horton, we have contemporary, we have Dingole, we have ballet, we have folk, we have hip hop, we have Pilates, we have yoga. We try to give them everything that we could possibly give them to make an all-round versatile dancer. We do the same thing for the junior program, the younger program, the young dancers in training program. So their day is not as hectic as the intensive, but they still have a very long day. They do the same styles, but they get a little more fun in theirs. They get the Afro beats, they get the hip hop, they get folk, they get the yoga, Pilates, contemporary, yes, hip hop. So they have the fun styles, as I call it, because it's a lighter program.
And where can they get more information about all of this?
They can go to our website, 5678dancestudio.tt.com. Our Facebook and Instagram pages have all the information as well, or they can call 464-5678 to get further info.
Now, what are you looking forward to most about all of this?
Just imparting and having fun.
Yeah.
While we're serious, but imparting and having fun. And just talking about the discipline. In the motto of Trinidad, we have discipline, tolerance, and production. You know, so I always go back to that, no matter from the founding of the country, we have discipline placed into the motto. So that is very important. And just to come out and have fun. While also being serious, you know, in terms of development.
Now, I'll ask you both, for parents who are watching this morning, you know, you may have a child who's interested in dance, but, you know, they're unsure about taking that first step. What would you say to encourage them? You've built an amazing career now with dance, and you help to create amazing careers for so many other young children into adults. What would you say to those parents this morning? It is a perfect opportunity to start for this vacation.
Definitely. I would suggest that they register, enjoy, come. They will experience it. They will see the growth in their children in the short space of time that they've been there. The 3 weeks, they will not recognize their child by the end of the 3 weeks. The discipline takes effect almost immediately. They will be tired, of course, from the program because they're dancing most of the day or nearly all day. But it will be enjoyable. They will find their passion. They will be excited about doing things. And it builds confidence. You get so many other attributes from it. So, yeah.
What about you?
Yes. Talking about confidence, how you walk, how you carry yourself. You know, because there are certain body types, but we include all types of bodies within the dance, you know, and that is very important to us. And then the skills that you learn, just not from this 3 weeks program, you could translate that skill to any part of your life. I always say that. And it's very meaningful whether you're going to administration, or you're going to behind the scenes of a dance studio. It's all there, you know, because it's a professionally run program, and I stress professionally. But, you know, within that structure, you could find so much range in order to build a community that could translate nationally and internationally.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Ronald and Charlene, for joining us this morning. It really is a unique opportunity to learn from internationally recognized professionals like Ronald. Well, you know, you're experiencing so much, and you're developing your technical skills and your confidence. So really thank you for sharing that with us. And I hope that, you know, you're inspired this morning to do something for your Java vacation, I would say. Go learn how to dance with these amazing people at 5, 6, 7, 8.
There you go.
Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having us.
You're most
Thank you for
welcome.
having us, yes.
The time now 7:37 in Trinidad and Tobago today. Another reminder about the adverse weather alert. So let us know what's the condition like on the roads for you as you're getting maybe into the capital, maybe you're heading to south, wherever you are going this morning. Or maybe you're just wrapped up in your couch, in your bed, and you're just happy to be with us here. Well, we are happy to have you. We take a break, and when we come back, there's so much more.
Talk City 91.1 FM, the leading talk station in Trinidad and Tobago, because nobody delivers conversations like we do. Start your mornings with Ground Report. Andy Pitbull Williams, Lennox Smith, and Nigel Snipes setting the agenda from 6 to 9 a.m. Then it's Off the Record with Stefan Reese and Mr. X, Fearless Talk, and the issues everybody's discussing. Stay connected with Sharon. Take it front with Officer Shabadi. Go beyond limits with Roland Stewart. Drive home with Heavy Duty and David Welch on Under the Radar. And wrap up your day with Kingsley and OB on The Wrap Up. Real talk, real people, real Trinidad and Tobago. Listen live on Talk City 91.1 FM and follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Talk City 91.1 FM, the #1 talk station in Trinidad and Tobago.
Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
I'm Jamila Bannister, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays 6 p.m., Tuesdays 1:10 p.m.
Their music has become the soundtrack to generations, and next weekend, some of Trinidad and Tobago's finest vocalists will come together to celebrate the timeless sound of Sade. A tribute to Sade will feature 4 accomplished performers, each bringing her own unique style to classics that have defined soul, jazz, and R&B for decades. Well, joining me this morning, we have the producer and vocalist, Anila Mirage Wallace, a respected multi-genre singer, songwriter, and host of Anila's Mic, who has spent years championing local music. And she joins us now to tell us more about this special tribute happening on Sunday, July 12th at Cafe Blue. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, Anila, what inspired you to produce an entire concert dedicated to the music of Sade? And what do you think her music, why do you think her music continues to resonate with audiences decades later?
Simple, because people connect with the themes of the songs. Love, heartbreak, just dealing with life. When you think of Sade, it's about beauty, love, sensuality, just calmness. When you look at the videos, how she presents herself, you know, that transcends generations. It affects women and men. When I had the idea to put this show together, people told me, why only one person? And I said, because Sade stands alone. When you look at the top 10 influential women in music, Western music, Sade is there. Unassuming, she's not Aretha, she's not Whitney, she's not Mariah. She's simply Sade with that energy and that love and beauty.
You know, a lot of people continue to, her music, as you said, resonates with them. And Sade's music would probably be a part of, you know, so many lives for every stage of your life. So what is it about her songs that really creates a personal connection?
Her delivery, her tone, her calmness. Like I just said, she's not Whitney hitting high notes and this sort of thing. It's this very calm, centered, grounded woman. Strength, calm strength. And I think that is what touches so many people. The themes of the music, again, you know, very simple themes. Love, heartbreak, and that's every day. I'm sure we all know somebody right now going through a Tabanka. They might be playing some Sade. Yeah, and it's men and women who connect to the musicality as well. That's a whole different part too. The music sounds so simple, but when you start putting it together, you look at the composition of the band, there's many people there. When you have to present it now, with a smaller number of musicians, it becomes challenging as well to do the same thing. I am very, very blessed and humbled and pleased. The backing band for this show comprises men who have been in the industry for over 30 years each.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Richard Joseph on drums, Kenneth Batiste on keyboards, Russell Jurity on bass, Dean Williams on guitar, and Tony Paul on saxophone.
Wow.
These guys just everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, they are playing music every week. They're sharp, skilled.
Yeah.
And they are going to be bringing that energy behind us four women, you know, delivering our songs.
Esteemed opportunity of being a part of something that Tony Paul performed at, and he is great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so we're looking at really seasoned musicians, and obviously, you know, everyone coming together with their specific talent is going to be beautiful. Now, speaking of talent, the four of you have very, very different voices and musical backgrounds. So how have you approached, you know, making these songs your own while still honoring Sade and the originals?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because it is a celebration of the music. It's not going to be a carbon copy of the music. As you said, we're all different. Our personalities are different. So I come from a more rock background. So I'm going to bring a little more grit to it. But the others have more classically trained voices. So they'll be a little more purer to the sound of Sade. But they're not Sade. They are just going to interpret their passion and love for the songs that they are singing. For example, Leandra is going to be singing a song called Is It a Crime? And my goodness, when she opens her mouth and just delivers this song, you're going to be like, oh, you know. Denise, you know, she has a variety of styles as well. R&B, reggae, rock. So she's bringing a different flavor as well, you know. And Tyler Ariel, a little more soft. Yes.
Now, without giving too much away, are there any songs in the set that you're especially excited about, or even, you know, maybe a little bit nervous to perform as well because of how beloved they are?
Oh my gosh. Well, the production name we're using is the Smooth Operators. That's
the big song, you know, when I was growing up and I heard the Smooth Operator song, what is this, you know? Little nervous because, you know, you want to make it perfect. On a personal note, going through her discography, I came across a song called Jezebel. And I hadn't heard it very often. And then when I heard it again, I said, this is different.
Yeah.
It's different. It's not about love and heartbreak and a romance. It's about the struggle of a woman and what her life is, you know. There's a song there's another song that's just about how to get by in life, struggling. And you wouldn't think soft, sensual Sade music. It's something about real nitty-gritty issues. And so there's a song like that that I hope people, you know, enjoy as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm really looking forward to Leandra's performance of Visitor Crime.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Denise delivering Smooth Operator.
So 4 amazing women.
Yeah.
Well, actually, right now we have a video for you of, you know, the other women in the concert. We want to take in that now, a little taste of what's to come.
Most to grow if we let them and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say I've been changed for the better, but because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It well may be that we may never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made from what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now whichever way our stories end, I know you have written mine by being my friend. Like a ship blown from its mooring by the wind on the sea.
Absolutely beautiful. Now, before we let you go, can you tell our viewers everything that they need to know? When and where will the show take place? How can they get tickets? And why is this a concert that they should not miss?
Oh, they need to be there because nobody else has done a tribute to Sade in this country. I asked.
You were so excited. I love it.
So it is happening at Cafe Blue, Wrightson Road, Port of Spain. Tickets are $150 available at the venue or by calling me 485-6483 and we'll arrange to get a ticket in your hand. I just also want to give a shout out to Carl Jacobs at Cafe Blue. Carl Jacobs is the most encouraging man in the music industry in all of Trinidad and Tobago. He encourages everybody to bring their shows to Cafe Blue. Does not matter the genre. It could be chutney, it could be reggae, it could be metal, like Lynchpin this past Saturday, July 4th. Amazing man, amazing venue. So show is on Sunday, July 12th. Doors open at 6:30. And yeah, have a few more tickets left. Get them.
Give us the contact again for you.
485-6483 and at the venue at Cafe Blue.
All right. Thank you very, very, very much. It sounds like it's going to be a beautiful evening celebrating music that has truly stood the test of time. So thank you, Anila, for being here with me this morning. Well, the time now, it is 7:53 on Trinidad and Tobago Today. Don't forget, we have that finals viewing party for you. It's Sunday, July 19th, right here at the Mecca, 11A Maraval Road. Admission is absolutely free if you want to join us, but you have to secure your exclusive access pass via Island e-tickets. Remember, gates open from 1 p.m. No coolers or glass bottles allowed. And for more information, all you have to do is stay plugged into us here at TTT Limited Media Network. And thank you to the sponsors: Digicel, Creamery Novelties, Jade Monkey Bar Tobago, Campari, Magnum, Stamina Energy, Blue Waters, Cafe Barista, Daca Stella Prosecco, Stoli Vodka, Allegra, and the TTT Media Limited. Well, also, if you want to get in touch with us, all you have to do is send us an email at ttoday@ttt.co.tt. Again, that's ttoday@ttt.co.tt, and you can be a part of the conversation that's shaping our nation. Remember, for all the stories that you see here and more, follow us at TTT Live Online and at TNT Today Show. We look forward to hearing from you. Well, continuing this morning, a small goal football competition was officially opened last Saturday at St. Joseph Road in Port of Spain. The initiative, led by Lennox Smith, our very own, is aimed at promoting positive youth engagement, building self-esteem, and helping to reduce conflict and violence in communities. And Smith says the tournament forms part of ongoing efforts to use sport as a tool for social development.
I think you to understand that this exercise is one of bringing everybody together, first and foremost. Secondly, we have to those on the outside looking in and have a bad idea about how we operate here. That is not, we have to prove that it's not what they are thinking or what they believe this community is all about. Education, sport, culture. We're going to get every young man and woman who want a particular skill or interested in a particular area to work in that area to build themselves, their family, the community, and by extension, Trinidad and Tobago.
The best is yet to come. One more time. The best is yet to come.
4 minutes before the top of the hour. We're almost ready to say goodbye, but again, another reminder of the weather situation. Also, Trinidad and Tobago today, we spoke with Jerry David, Senior Disaster Management Coordinator for the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government in Trinidad and Tobago. And he said that at this time, there are no adverse reports, just flash flooding reports in Port of Spain and environs. And of course, we will have all of that for you. So just stay tuned to us at TTT Live Online. Again, an adverse weather alert in effect until 12 p.m. today. Well, this is where I say goodbye. Thanks to all our guests for joining us this morning. We're just closely following that 51st meeting, that CARICOM Heads of Government, and that's the 51st regular meeting. So we spoke today with Professor Hamid Ghani, who'll continue to be on the show, of course, to tell us everything that's coming out of that meeting and what does that mean for CARICOM and, of course, the future of Trinidad and Tobago and CARICOM. Thank you very much to everyone who made it out in the rain this morning from our team. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 to 8, where we do this all over again. Please be safe on the nation's roads. Have a beautiful day. Do your best today. Continue to love your kids and love your family, and, just have a wonderful week ahead of you. Thanks for being here. We really do appreciate you. See you tomorrow, where we do it all over again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. We report the news. Real stories in real time. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Why is Talk City 91.1 FM the leading talk station in Trinidad and Tobago? Because nobody delivers conversations like we do. Start your mornings with Ground Report. Andy Pitbull Williams, Lennox Smith, and Nigel Snipes setting the agenda from 6 to 9 a.m. Then it's Off the Record with Stefan Reese and Mr. X, Fearless Talk, and the issues everybody's discussing. Stay connected with Sharon. Ticket Front with Officer Shabadi. Go Beyond Limits with Roland Stewart. Drive Home with Heavy Duty and David Welch on Under the Radar. And wrap up your day with Kingsley and OB on The Wrap Up. Real talk, real people, real Trinidad and Tobago. Listen live on Talk City 91.1 FM and follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Talk City 91.1 FM, the #1 talk station in Trinidad and Tobago.
Good morning. This is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. Over 17,500 students received their secondary entrance assessment results last week. Not all of those students and their parents may have been happy with their results. Mental health consultant Isaiah Lutchman is reminding parents that this moment is not about them, it is about their child.
Very important that parents in those moments monitor their own reactions, which may be difficult, and we have to be honest with that. And it might be hard in those moments to regulate when parents may have their own expectations. But children are very observant beings, right? And so they are aware more than we tend to notice them to be aware of.
He also has some advice to help parents so that they do not inadvertently damage their child's self-esteem, nor turn this one point in their life into a devastating moment.
So taking time to first validate the child's emotions and then pulling back and realizing that disappointment is a normal reaction, but how you handle that disappointment is what's important, right? They need to regulate their own self, whether that looks like right now, I'm not in the headspace to properly deal with this, so I'm going to focus on something else in that moment, maybe celebrate the fact that the child at least succeeded in SEA. For those who didn't, it's not the end of the road, there's a chance again.
Mr. Lutchman insists that while it is okay to feel disappointed, he reminds parents that their children must not be the ones to receive that disappointment, as it can have long-term damaging effects. In other news, a new project has been launched by the United Nations Development Programme and the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government to strengthen community agriculture, youth engagement, and food security in Oropoon. The Oropoon Leaf Initiative also aims to build resilience in vulnerable communities through sustained development partnerships. UNDP Assistant Resident Representative Sharifa Ali Abdullah highlighted the importance of youth engagement and community participation in shaping the success of development projects.
What stayed with me was a simple observation that young people came early. They came before the session started. They came because they wanted to check on the plants. They came because they wanted to see the animals. They came because they were excited. And honestly, that may be perhaps the most important success indicator, or what we call KPI, of this project.
Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Khadija Amin, praised the activity and said it reflects a strong model of community-led development.
But we have to continue to keep these young people together. Because of the nature of our community, we have to keep our young people together and out of the devil's hands. Because the devil is busy. But good people and godly people have to be more busy than the devil. So I commend Ms. Sharifa Ali Abdullah for happening to land in Oropoon Gardens. I commend Mr. Greenidge for holding the fort I commend the Village Council and all the other NGOs who might be present today. And I want to tell you that we have to continue to be resilient for the sake of our little ones.
The Orapun Leaf Initiative is expected to continue rolling out in phases. And now for some sport. The West Indies finished day 3 of the second test versus Sri Lanka on 318 for 4, trailing by 231 runs at stumps at North Sound in Antigua. Back from injury, Shea Ho played a veteran knock of 86 not out in a 174-run partnership with Justin Greaves, which saw the West Indies take their score from 58 for 1 to 318 for 4 on the day at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Greaves is unbeaten on 85. Earlier, John Campbell contributed 72 to the cause. So the West Indies will resume action on day 4 at the North Sound ground on 318 for 4 with Hope and Greaves at the wicket in their 80s. And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. On behalf of the entire team, have a great day.
This is TTT. Live for local.